If you're a victim of domestic violence, help is available. Kristen Dabrowski is CEO of Hopeful Horizons and joins us now. And domestic violence is one of those things that affects both men and women. And your organization helps both.
Absolutely, yeah. Hopeful Horizons is kind of unique in that we're a children's advocacy, domestic violence, and rape crisis center. But yes, focusing on domestic violence definitely assists both male and female victims. Domestic violence is really something very common, unfortunately, impacting 1 in 4 women and 1 in 3 men during their lifetime with some sort of physical abuse in an intimate relationship. So definitely we're here for any survivor who should need our assistance.
And someone who does find themselves in one of those unfortunate situations, they come to Hopeful Horizons, and what are the programs and services that you provide? Yeah,
so typically a person's first point of contact with us is through our 24-hour support line. Sometimes that's their only contact. Sometimes they just want to reach out for support and assistance, and just telling someone what's going on might be the first step. We know statistically it might take someone 7 to 8 times to attempt to leave an abusive relationship before exiting permanently, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So after they connect with us through the support line, they might be seeking emergency shelter, might need legal assistance, counseling or trauma therapy, case management assistance. Could be a variety of things, so we'd work with them to help meet any of those needs that they might have.
Shelter included? Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Okay. So, and how often do you see people going back to the situation and that improving, or is it they cut it off and then they move on?
Well, for folks who access our services, again, some of them are leaving the relationship, especially if they're coming into the shelter, but a lot of them are staying in the relationship. They might be receiving services on an outreach basis, like typically counseling or therapy support services, and they might be doing that because they're staying in the relationship and trying to do that as safely as they can and as healthily as they can, because again, there are a lot of reasons that people stay in relationships that are unhealthy. And we know with domestic violence, I think we typically think about physical violence, but there are a lot of other forms of abuse that happen, and there's not always physical
Emotional,
violence.
Sexual.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Financial abuse, a lot of other things that happen. So, so it really depends. For some folks, they do return to the relationship if they've left, and sometimes they end up coming back to us for services, and sometimes we don't hear from them again, and we hope, wish them all the best and hope things are going better for them.
Absolutely. And Hopeful Horizons has been around for 40 years this year, so congratulations on just it firmly planted in the community, helping people, improve their lives. You've been with the organization for how long?
18 years.
18 years. So over those 18 years, what have you seen changed? Anything positive? Anything that has gotten worse over time?
I think, a couple of things that we've seen change. Historically, you probably heard that South Carolina has a really onerous past with domestic violence. Typically, we rank in the top 10 in the nation for the rate of women murdered by men. And in the about 25 years that report has been done, there's only been twice that we've been out of the top 10. And this last year, we were actually ranked 23rd, which is our lowest ranking yet. Typically, again, we've been first a number of times. So that's potentially a positive sign. We won't know until we see that continuing to fall.
What's attributable to that, do you think?
I think there's a lot of things attributable to that. One thing being trauma, and a lot of untreated trauma, a lot of it being culture, and just allowing and accepting violence and abuse to happen, not having enough resources and support for survivors to get assistance. And
here we are talking about it.
Yes.
So there's access to understanding that the resources are out there.
Yes.
Because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know.
Yes, and I think that's one of the most positive things I've seen, is that over the past 18 years we're talking about it more and more, and getting to do things like this and sharing with the community that help's available. It's so important because domestic violence thrives in silence, and people who are perpetrating it, really try to isolate their victims, try to shame them and blame them and keep them from speaking out. And so it's so important for folks to feel comfortable coming forward, know that they're going to get the support that they need, know that people are going to say, I believe you, it's okay, it's not your fault.
That's right.
We're here to help.
Yeah, that's right. Excellent. Well, for anybody who wants more information, they can go to your website. We're going to put that up on the screen. I want to thank you very much for joining us. We're back after this.